Brothers, sisters, and others of all colors. Welcome back to another YouTube video. This time, I was just briefly engaging with the satisfactoriness, with the satisfaction of my own intro. Okay, I'm loving it. Okay, so guess what? All right, we're talking about the left today. We're talking about leftists and other leftists and all that bullshit. Okay, is this a channel that is oriented around politics? Not necessarily. It's mostly about spirituality. Does that coincide with politics? Actually, it's really kind of not. It's more about like me and the things I want to talk about. But it's the things I want to talk about are mostly spirituality. So, yeah. So we're talking about leftists. But anyways, we're talking about the spiritual patterns of leftists. All right. What are we talking about? I'm talking about the toxic relationship with authority and power, and that seems to be there. There are some leftists out there who don't have this really bad relationship. And it's not just leftists too. It's also vegans. There's and I can see it. Like I literally see but I'll show you. I'll show you what I see when we get to that. All right? What is this pattern? The pattern is a leftist or a vegan or somebody's on the correct side of history on a given take. Okay. Um so here's the thing. All right. They express that being correct uh, uh in a horrible way, and then they blame other people for not agreeing with them. It's other people's fault that they or it's really other people's fault, and racism is still alive and well, and it's the worst thing in the universe. Sexism is still alive and well. It's the worst thing in the universe. People are still eating animals, and it's the worst thing in the universe, and this and that. All right. And nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to solve the issues. This, and that. And for me, sometimes it's like subjectivity. Nobody cares about subjectivity. It's the worst thing in the universe. This and that. And nobody's spiritually aware. It's the worst thing in the universe. Yeah, you get it. So it's like this is a specific belief system that like this is yeah, it's a thing, and it's a thing in a lot of these spaces where they do have the correct opinion. And guess what? Uh, I can point to a pretty strong origin point. Here it is. All right, your ass has a bad relationship with an authority figure. Why? Because at some point you were right about something, and you were forced to put up with the wrong decisions of an authority figure, and so you came to the conclusion that, well, authority figures are not correct. All right, and that if you have authority, if you have power, you can force your opinion on other people. Um, and perceiving power as authority is hilarious to me personally, but I see what you're saying. I might be, look, without getting too caught up in my own perspective, um, power is way, 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 way bigger than authority. And authority is something that is not necessarily a byproduct of power. It's weird. The way it's mentally going through my head, the output is like machine code right now. Okay, but we'll get to it. Um, we'll get to that. So this person feels unheard. They feel like people who have power and authority can force their authority onto others, and they have to agree no matter what. And this one misunderstanding is the basis for everything, because their schema for how the world works is challenged when people don't agree with them, when they've spent 20 years studying gender the history of gender throughout history, or 20 years studying fucking racism throughout history, or 20 years studying whatever throughout history, okay? It's like some people legitimately just have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Like, in fact, most people don't because you've researched yourself into the top 1% of all knowledge on this topic. Congratulations. Honestly, pretty good work, okay? Where you've worked your way into a very, very, very small percentile of people. And so what ends up happening is that they end up doing things to try and convince these people of their perspective because they're right, right? And they should have authority because, well, maybe they have a college degree or they just, maybe they know better. There's some justification for why they should have authority or power. And so when they express that power and authority, it's done in a way that's destructive, um, maybe unhelpful, that doesn't really get anyone from point A to point B. And what ends up happening is that people, yeah, they ultimately end up disagreeing, and then they're like, okay, well, what the fuck? And then they instead of looking at their methods and techniques, they say there's something wrong with other people. Uh, like they're not thinking straight, or they're dumb, and they're incapable of thinking the correct things, like me. That's the ultimate outcome. You ultimately end up not taking responsibility for other people and the things that they know, or the way you communicate, basically. And you throw your power away. This is self sabotage, plain and simple. It's just self sabotage. If you ever end up saying they're just too stupid, they don't get it, they're dumb, this is self sabotage. Instead, what you should be asking is how. What is the reason why they didn't understand this, or what is the reason why people had rejected the way that I was thinking? Why is my what what about my way of communicating my ideas is preventing people from understanding it? Like, where are other people? Where is their thinking? There's you know you're no longer stuck in the fact that you're right. If you were thinking these thoughts, you're not stuck in the fact that you're right. You're not really stuck in anything, really. You're trying to move forward with your ability to share your opinions on something. And this is a part of how you develop power. Um, Oftentimes, people stumble into positions of power, and it's not really because of anything about them specifically that makes them particularly good with that power or authority. Sometimes people, like, oh, you have a child. Now you're an authority figure. You're powerful. It fucking sucks. Or you're an asshole optometrist who uh who just so happens to be talking to a elementary school student, to an elementary school child about their future, and you end up saying that they are wasting their future. As you can tell, I've had my own run-ins with authority myself. Or you're telling somebody who already knows 1,000 times more. Okay, look, you see that? You see that? That's the same exact problem. It's the same problem. You know what I mean? Like, I've also run into people, authority figures, who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, or people who are trying to be authority figures who honestly do not know what the fuck they're talking about, and who are trying to convince me of things that are just bullshit to me, and that, yeah. So, anyways, so This is the issue. We need to solve this issue with authority before you can free your mind up. Because if you just think these questions, if you just think like, oh, okay, why am I not? You're just gonna give up on them, because it's not legitimate, it's not genuine. You're gonna be like, oh, it doesn't work. Oh, I tried it and it doesn't work, and it sucks. And it's like, it is because you're not there. You're not thinking in that way. It's not a part of who you are. Who you are right now is somebody who is giving, or somebody who feels the need to uh, uh, force a better opinion onto other people. Okay? A quote unquote better opinion. What you think is the better opinion onto other people. All you need to know is that people are trying to figure. The main thing I think that really helped me was like understanding that other people are looking for their highest good and their highest truth, and they are where they are. It's that simple. And it seems, nah, like it can't be that simple. It's kind of that simple. There's probably a lot more that I'm discounting to it, but it's like, yeah, like that's pretty much it. This is why other people sort of, it's kind of like spawning in two different worlds in Minecraft, and you're yelling at somebody about diamonds that are right in front of them when they are not even like, even though they're on like a completely different map. Like there are legitimately no diamonds there. Um, they need to find their way to those diamonds, and there are some common elements that, and we all know that there are like, the most efficient way to mine diamonds is on like 12 or 13 strip mine, creating a strip mine and then going through until you see fucking teal. So, anyways, authority. Good old power and authority, okay? This is something that I'm gonna have to work through myself mentally before I record a video on that, but right now, just think more about other people as like trying to find their way through things. And that you're sort of in a place where it's difficult to comprehend for them, even though like they don't really. It's difficult to comprehend that the position that you're in, because they simply just aren't there, and they're nowhere near there, and the world and the environment and everything is completely different. You have netherite armor, and they have like iron, and they're like, okay, I'm using a bunch of Minecraft analogies. It's like, that's it. You worked really hard at this thing, and now you know more than other people about this thing. Your job now, when it comes, if you decide to push that theory further, that's totally up to you. That's totally within your jurisdiction. Some people will go out of their way to fucking be assholes and to try and inform you or push you towards a perspective that you know isn't right. And at that point, you just say fuck you, and you move on. But anyways, that's all. Well, it's not really all. I still have a few more things to say. The other thing to say is that like the right, in terms of like the culture war or race or anything about that, we know, like if you're a leftist, you know that like their entire their entire perspective is like they're just anti-left. They're anti this. They're anti that. They're just against it for no discernible reason. You know that that's the point of view, and you know why that's the case. It's not just like being dumb, right? It's a cop out. It's an oversimplification. It's a way to, uh, uh, it's a way to not think about the world. It's a way to turn off. It's a way to turn off your brain. All right. So guess what? Okay, the reason why that a lot of people end up joining these positions, there's fucking anti-vaxxers, there's fucking flat earthers, and all these like obscure groups of people who, most people would consider insane, but who are very sane in their own world, who are themselves, who they consider to be very sane. Incels, men going their own way, all kinds of people. Okay, all of these groups, and fundamentally, a big problem for them is control. That's it. People on the right are saying the N word because of control. It's because of a sense they need a sense of power. Um, they're being misogynistic and sexist because of it. They have a lost sense of power, or a perceived lost sense of power. A lack of agency over themselves and their own lives. This is why you often end up seeing these groups congregate to places of self improvement, because, well, self improvement has a very simple offer of having power over your own life. And a lot of the left tends to reject things like personal responsibility as an idea. But guess what, motherfucker? If you don't choose to have any responsibility, guess what? The world will just do what it's going to do regardless. If you don't respond to the world, the world's just going to keep talking over you. You know what I mean? Like, there is a dialectic between you and the universe, you and the world, and you need to fucking speak up to the world in that way. You need to take that responsibility to talk to it, to really talk to it and to really listen, to really be a part of that conversation. And if you're not a part of that conversation, and look, you might be like, okay, yeah, but like determinism and no free will. But guess what, motherfucker? That's not like that is being used as a way to like circumvent taking any action. And here's another thing. Guess what, motherfucker? Uh, I see another pattern on the left where it's like people associate like blame with responsibility. If you are responsible, you are also to blame. Okay, it's foolish. Like, I'm able to respond to taking my medicine every day. Okay, and that can help me prevent some things from happening. That can help me prevent not really cleaning or taking care of the house or anything else that would appear to me as less immediately rewarding. ADHD, by the way. I could take less responsibility my for my yoga, and then things will happen as a result of that. Um, but like there's a way that you can operate within the world, and even though it's not good, it's what you got to do. It's what you got to do. You know what I mean? I feel like they didn't come out right. I need to think about that one a lot more. So there's a thing. Give me a second, okay? The future. That's it. So it's like if you do something in the past, right? Let's say I don't wake up on time, okay? And if I like me taking responsibility would be like, okay, if I don't wake up on time, if I don't wake up early or on time, or I'm not taking care of the things in my life at that stage, I'm not going to be able to find and keep a job, right? It's that simple. But if I look back and I say, oh, the reason why I haven't woken up is because I never really formed a habit of waking up, and I never really formed a sense of responsibility for that. And then I say, oh yeah, well, guess what? You know, I was never taught a sense of responsibility, so guess what? I'm not responsible for it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I was never taught a responsibility for my hygiene, so I'm never gonna take a shower. It doesn't make any sense. right? When I was a little ass kid, all I knew was like, okay, this is what I want to do, and as long as I just remain unseen and do that as much as possible, um, then I can just feel good about my life. Okay, I can just feel good about my life and and live it and have fun, and it'll be awesome. All right, I can just hide forever. I never learned to take responsibility for those things until now. Um, and cleaning and all of this stuff that's considered adult. Uh, but like, come on. So that's the thing. It's like responsibility is not the same as blame. All I'm saying is that you can control your life, and if you don't like that, if you don't like controlling your life, then life is just going to continue to control you, and that's all there is to it. And it's like, how you responded is not bad, right? How you respond to a situation isn't bad. But learning to respond the right way to a situation isn't bad. Like, that's just growing up. Yeah, that's fucking goddamn sound leaking through the door. Anyways, hopefully that was helpful. All right. So to summarize, uh, being responsible is not the same as taking blame. This is just, come on, like, you're not wrong for responding the way that you did to any given situation. That's just how you respond. And part of being better and part of gaining more control is to suck fucking ass at having control, of having power. You gotta suck ass to not suck ass. And the second thing is, think about how, or think more about how other people think, basically, and take more. And after you fucking work through that shit with the responsibility, take more responsibility of how you present yourself and your opinions and your ideas. If you're presenting them in a way that's unsavory, people are going to perceive a good thing as unsavory, and that is bad. You're not being a vegan because you want to have power and authority over other people. At least I hope not. But it's or you're not being a leftist because you want to have power and authority over other people. So like you're doing this for a good reason. You're doing this to make the world a better place. I hope so, at least. So focus on making the world a better place to the best of your ability, of course. And it's okay to not be good at that. It's okay to suck, because sucking is a part of getting better. A mistake is not a mistake. It's more like charting a map. But anyways, that's all I gotta say. Peace.